Hey everyone,
It's Chad Church,
and Nikolai Phelan.
and we are excited to bring to you our brand new podcast,
Hullabaloo. A cross-generational
media consumption podcast
where two gay men
from different generations
watch movies,
read books
listen to music, and more,
to bridge Gen X
and Gen Z. I thought that was pretty good.
Let's do another take.
Hi everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Hullabaloo. I am Nikolai Phelan.
And I am Chad Church.
And this is our unofficial Halloween episode. And we're super excited because we watched both Texas Chainsaw Massacres, the 2003 and 1974. And I think, I'm super excited to get into this today. Before we talk about those movies, I want to give a couple cultural shout outs because there's a lot of interesting stuff that's happening in the moment right now. And if you have some cultural shout outs or things that you've been consuming outside of what we did together, feel free to do your own, Chad. But I recently listened to Lily Allen's new album, which is about her divorce with her husband, David Harbour, what's his name? And it was called West End Girl, and it was really, really good. So I highly recommend that. And then also, Rosalia recently released a song called Berghain with Bjork and Yves Tumor, and it was really arresting. The music video is arresting. The song was it's just astonishing. It really shook me. And I'm not an easy person to shake. I think I have very high expectations. I don't have high expectations. I have very high. It's not expectations, but you know what I mean? Like my standards. I have very high standards. And so to make me kind of really like get my eyebrows raising, I was like, wow, she really did some crazy stuff there. So I thought that was really great. I watched also Long Legs. Have you seen that movie? Don't.
Remember when I was talking about how if it's not exactly like my groove, I'm gonna say it, and you were like, yeah, but you don't want to actually alienate anybody who might have a different groove. Well, look who's got the vibe today.
Let me tell you what, Scorpio season has me not giving a fuck. That was me and Kate watched it, and we were liking the first half of that movie, and then it was so bad. Like it was so bad. Like the ending was so bad that there's a thing that happens in bad horror movies where you get to the end and the movie is still taking itself seriously, but you're not. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like embarrassing for the film. You get embarrassed for the movie because you're like, you thought that I would be on board with this, didn't you? You thought that I was gonna be like, because that's like, it's happened to me a couple times. There was another movie I saw in a movie theater once with it was with Jennifer Lawrence, and it was called The Girl That Lived Next Door or something. I think it was called something like that. Like it was literally called like The Girl That Lived Next Door.
Jennifer
and then it was
Lawrence, like as in like the
Hunger Games fame, yeah.
What's that?
Hunger Games and Silver Linings Playbook.
I mean, sorry that seems to be her claim to fame, but you know,
No, it's the one. It's the one. You know, I mean, like that was her Harry Potter in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I don't remember what that movie was. All I remember is when it ended, there was like a trans horror storyline that wasn't present, and then at the end it was like they're trans. And then it's like, but like they weren't even trans. Like it was like the parents made them trans, and so then they became angry, wanted to murder people. And it was like,
all those parents that are out there like, hey, I want one more fucking thing to deal with in my life, which is you being
Yeah.
trans.
Right, like that was the craziest part is like they're like these demented people are gonna make him turn from a boy into a girl. And I remember the final scene. I don't even know what the name of this movie is, but I vividly remember the final scene. Like it was like this like flashback to the mom being like the boy's like, my name's Tommy, and she's like, your name is Tomina, and then she slaps the child or whatever
And
the
then she
fuck it
sent him off
was.
to like primary school for the sex change in the sixth period.
I don't even know. Like, I don't even remember. I just remember that, like, there was the slap. Like, he says that he's a boy, and she says, "No, you're gonna be a girl." And she
Well,
slaps
this
him,
is my
and then it's like,
sarcasm here that's
yeah,
leering out it with its ugly face. I mean, like, because some of us think that's happening at like, I don't know, fifth period. I don't know, like, well, how many periods do you need to change a child from trans to, or from, their gender that they were born with to trans, you know what I mean? Like politically
right.
speaking, which is kind of,
Yeah, it's such a crazy idea. It's such a crazy notion, and it's such an interesting and deranged, like, obsession people have,
well, that
right? Where
anybody
they
would
go,
believe that that's how that goes down is,
if that's the thing. That's the thing is but this is the thing is that like is that that is such a crazy, and this is the same thing that I was having with the Long Legs film, right? Um, Horror movies are entirely dependent on the suspension of disbelief and a sense of buy-in. You have to buy into the concept, the world, the scares, etc. In a lot of ways that I think directors get people to buy in is through jump scares. Because if you scream, they get you to scream, you're in a horror movie and you were scared. Congratulations, you got your money's worth. It's you were in the haunted house, right? And so for many years, especially in like the 2010s, I think it was really when, because one of the things I was thinking about that was really interesting is, do you remember how the marketing for horror movies used to be all connected to the movie Saw? Everything was connected to the movie Saw. It was like, because it was all on DVDs, and it would be like from the guys who made The Conjuring and
yeah.
Insidious and Saw, and it was all just Lionsgate.
Mhm.
Like there, it was just like the same place. Like it was just like Paramount or something. Do you know what I mean? Like it was just like a giant conglomerate, but they were able to like use their previous products as a way of getting people to believe.
Yeah.
And it worked for me as like a high schooler. I'd be like, yeah, like, oh my God, like it's the same universe as Saw. And it like sometimes it was good, sometimes it wasn't. But that's how they used to get people to believe and buy in. And now we don't have that because with the streamers, there's no like, even if you had a specialty streamer, the streamers aren't really the ones responsible for making these movies. They're not the creative force behind it. They're often just the one buying it. And because they're these big machines that pump out lots of stuff, they don't have that much of an aesthetic stamp. The only one that kind of does is A24. A24 kind of has a stamp. Like they can be like, well, we made Hereditary and we made Midsummer, so sometimes we make good stuff. And I think for me, that's like when I think about why, because the question with films right now is like, why are so many people not going to the movies? And it's we don't have the promise of quality that we used to. So in order for people to get their ass and go to the film, like to go see the cinema, they want to know that it's good. And so the stuff that breaks through has to be like really good now. And that's not necessarily fair. Like that's a crazy, like it's like, oh, congratulations, you have to do one of your best works of your career in order to to make a profit on a film. You know, that's tough.
Yeah, absolutely. Here. Well, if I were to, I'm gonna look like a real knucklehead now because I went to a movie last week and now I can't think of the damn name of it. I went alone. It was a premiere from Angel is the group of it. It's about these kids during the 19th Germany who this one kid that starts sending out, anti-war propaganda at night. And he's like 16 years old. It's gosh, damn it. I can actually.
And it's new? Is it new?
Yeah, it's new, and the way that they're marketing it is through, well, the way that I've seen it marketed mostly is through Facebook. And
They're targeting the older generations. They're like, this is for you guys.
I guess.
Well, if it's through Facebook, that's because Facebook's like target demo is going to be like most people in our generation don't really use Facebook. So if they're doing Facebook
Well,
ads
this is
and not
where I've
Instagram.
seen it anyway. You know what I mean? Like
Okay,
just
fair.
personally, because yeah, I guess you're calling me old again.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Which is fine.
I did call you old and I didn't mean to,
I
but
look a
I
lot
mean,
younger than I am.
yeah, you look
um,
great.
all right, I want to see here. It's got a, damn it. Um, it is, gosh, I feel so bad. Well, we're just gonna talk about it, and I'm gonna look for it. But it's about, the Holocaust, and this 16-year-old kid, decides, like, this is BS, and he's German, and he's gonna fight against it through, he's a writer, and he's gonna fight against it
Hmm.
through these postings and stuff he's doing with his buddies. And it just really reminded me of what's going on today in our world. It was probably, I went to it the night before these marches here, on the 18th. And
Hmm.
it just reminds me of what we're experiencing right now, and getting that point across. And it's odd to me in a way that they actually could get that point across in our current environment that we're in here.
Right.
Speaking of that, I'm just going to transition to it because you're kind of like cultural things, but that's kind of what led me to this. It's a little more political, but
Hmm.
I feel like my shout out right now is, from a cultural standpoint, is to online creators, and not traditional news sources that are out there, because I
Right.
think they're giving us a much more a
Honest.
rounded and honest, yeah, brutally honest
Yeah.
and talking view, and they're talking to people the way that all of these people said they wanted to be talked to, spoken to,
Right.
and where they're not, where they don't hide the F word. They don't, I mean, there's this these two gals, I Hip News, and
I wait. Oh, wait. Is it the I've had it?
yeah,
I love them. Yes, I love
those
them. I
girls
love them. I love
are
them.
like
They are the
straight up
girls,
like,
honey.
and that
They just
motherfucker told this bitch that,
so
and I would have slapped her
every time
down.
I see them, I think of you because I'm just like, I just know they hit for
Oh,
you. Like you told me that they hit for you, but as soon as I saw it, I was like, there's something about that energy that I just know is exactly like it's like it gives you it's
oh
all the
yeah,
things that Chad needs. Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, just straight up like, all right, if we're gonna get out of we're gonna be, civilized and
Yeah.
appropriate, like, zone, then let's go. And those
Right.
girls,
It's so meeting the moment
yeah,
because it's kind of just like the civility is one of the most deranged like nomenclatures that we engage with, where we're like, it's like they're kidnapping people off the streets.
yeah, exactly,
They're,
exactly. This
we're
disability
bombing
is
foreign
left.
countries. Yeah, exactly. We're bombing foreign countries.
Yeah,
Like civility isn't the answer.
yeah,
And it's action, it's honesty.
Yep.
Like you have to look like things down the barrel in order to be able to confront them. And so yeah, I'm in full agreement. I love those girls. It's Jen. Is that her
Yeah,
name?
Jen and Pumps. Pumps.
What is Pump's real name?
Her.
That's crazy.
I think it's Angie, maybe. I think it's Angie.
Okay,
But
Jen
they
and
are
Angie.
straight
Okay,
up,
okay.
and they don't hold back. There's this Keith Edwards guy who's straight up, and of course, this is more of the liberal side of the media. According to Midas Touch, is 6 million viewers. So I really I want my shout out is to organizations, creators like that who culturally are at least meeting the moment, like you said. Speaking of
Yeah,
the moment,
yeah.
shall we roll into
Yeah, we should get into our talk. Let's talk about the Texas Chains. Okay,
that's called
so
a
which,
tease. That's a tease. I'm teasing
y-
him to hit
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. So, okay, so the Texas Chainsaw, I love that you're breaking the fourth wall. You're like talking to the listener. I'm like, I love it because I'm like, are you? I'm like, usually the contract is we talk to each other and we pretend like they're just present for the conversation. I love you're like turning away from me and looking at the camera, essentially. So fun.
The light went
Oh,
on
okay,
over
so
here.
yeah, so Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Didn't like so like we watched both. Do you want to go into your initial thoughts? And I have plenty of mine, but I love to hear yours
I
first.
think you're going to be shocked.
You liked the new one better.
I really, I just think the new one, from a filmmaking perspective, just feels so much better. Whether it was the photography, the shots, the video, or even the way that they kind of juggled and changed up what went down, how it went down. I mean, they stayed with that basic premise of this happened at this time, and then, this was this story, and then the police go through. But I thought they did a great job of sprucing it up from what I'd watched when the first one was, I mean, I'd seen, a trillion years ago, and I
Hmm.
loved that I could appreciate what they were doing from it and how it's become such a classic. But to me, that's the infancy of horror movies, because
Right.
I get off on, I mean, I don't get off on them, but if I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do the horror movie, I want a Saw, or I want a Friday the 13th. I want something that gets in the head rather than just hack it up, hack it up, hack it up. And this didn't get, it's not one of these, really cerebral movies or anything like that. But it was just, there was more to it. I felt like there was more to hold on to with
Mm.
the storyline.
And so, what specifically in the storyline did you feel that like were you more attracted to or more aligned with? Because I can understand that aspect. I think for me I have my own critiques, but we'll get into it after. I would love to hear your like from your side, what was kind of standing out to you in terms of those developments that really like resonated.
It just felt like it made more sense. It was more connected. The storyline felt like, well, there were all of these different elements to what was going on in ways like the first one. The second one, I felt like, all right, everybody in this town is twisted, and they did a good job or in this, holler is twisted, and I thought they did a good job of that. I mean, it's this
I love your use of the word holler. That's just fabulous.
up, up
Bring
in
back the
up
holler.
in the cut, as we say in Western Pennsylvania, means like out in
Really?
the middle of East BFE, some hilltop
Yeah.
somewhere. Obviously they were both, the shit that black people don't do, like so it's a little, I mean, I say that, half jokingly, but it's always like I don't know, Sharina isn't gonna like go down into go into that house from the front door. Sharina, in fact, got in her Altima and saw this shit was a little freaky and sped off. So it's funny to me. These movies are kind of in a way funny to me because the whole time I'm watching them, like, like, because some people have gaydar, well, black people have like kraydar. Like, we're like, that is some crazy shit, and I'm not even gonna go near it. So
Totally.
peace out. You know?
Right. Right. That's the thing that I would say that my biggest okay, so my thing is for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the first one, I think that it is quintessentially 70s film. It's a quintessentially 70s exploitation style film. And it really is. Like, and I was talking to Julia about this the other day about how watching it made me realize how there's something very beautiful about a simplistic film
Mhm.
where it isn't cerebral. I thought that was interesting. What I didn't like about the second one was I liked the characters better
Yes.
because we spend more time with them,
Yep.
and I liked that it was sexier. It was this like, there was something more erotic about the second one, whereas the first one,
Well, I mean,
I
what
think
was what? I mean, I don't know how sexy it is, but the part with the girl,
yeah.
and we should, if we can, if we want to, do the spoiler alert on that. But
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do the spoiler
all
alert.
right, you bring it.
You bring it. You bring it. You brought it up. You gotta bring it.
Boys, so they're riding in the van like the first one, but they changed out these characters for like they're
Yes. Okay, so I now I'm stealing it. Okay. I don't think that's so sexy
well,
when you're talking about pulling the gun out of her
yeah,
pussy.
I don't know that like it's sexual. I don't know. There's some, and I'm not
It's
gonna call it sexy.
well, I just meant that the characters had more of like there was like in the first one, I felt like the sexuality was very tame. Like we never really got to be with those characters and be like, whereas you really felt like in the new one, in the 2003 one, right? So the two Texas Chainsaw Massacres that we're talking about is 1974 and 2003. There's a lot of them, so it's important to clarify. But in 2003 is the remake.
Mhm.
However, in the remake, you do feel like the characters are close to fucking. Like you're like they could rip their clothes off at any second. And it's like there's something hot and spicy about that that makes you want to watch. What bothered me was the crazy bitch that pulls the gun out of her pussy and then blows her head off. I was like, what? I was angry. And that's the thing that happened to me with Long Legs, where I go, when a character does something that's just deranged, we can't go back. We can't. They're all gonna die. I go, just blow your head off. Why do you need to say you're all gonna die? If you're killing yourself, don't. It's like, it's just like I need care like I need writers who are writing these fucking movies to just spend a little bit more time like walking through the characters' motivations just a teensy bit. It's like she wants to kill herself. Mind your business, turn your head away and do it quietly. Don't be like she's center stage, she's made it all about her.
Well, I mean,
She's
this
like
isn't a Quentin Tarantino or Oliver Stone film, bro.
the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre to me is true cinema. Like there's something about it that's like it's it I don't see it as a flawed film.
I don't
I
see it
don't
as a flawed film. I see it for its time. Like,
Yeah, so this is the thing is I think maybe what I'm understanding for your perspective is you're like, well, this new one is more visceral because it feels more real and it doesn't feel so dated and
yeah,
old.
I mean, they don't. They're actually. It's like the acting is of this era. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like you can go back and watch acting and Leave It to Beaver versus acting in the 1980s versus acting in the 2020s, and you can
right.
see this development of how it is on a daily basis versus somebody reading lines with emotion.
The reason I feel like I like
than the old one is because for me, I don't watch horror movies really, especially anyone that I've already seen,
Mm-hmm.
to be scared. I'm watching it more as like a filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I, and I am somebody who's capable of being bewitched by nostalgia. And so there is a kind of aesthetic quality to the 16 millimeter, the grain, the the oldness of it, and the idea that this is a nightmare from a different era
Mm-hmm.
that I can appreciate. Whereas maybe for me, it's like the 2003 one is so representative of a type of film that I was growing up watching so many iterations of because it was in the Fry's grocery store and I was, shoplifting them under my shirt and taking them. So I think that's definitely it. But the thing that I like would give like props to the new one is I liked her and her partner's relationship
Mm-hmm.
like versus her and her brother's relationship
Mm-hmm.
in the old one, which is he just gets axed to death. Like the brother's really annoying in the old one. He's so irritating and he's really angry. And then he just gets his ass fucking axed, like just fucked up in the old one. And so you kind of like the loss in him isn't so important because the second half of the film in the original really becomes a run, bitch, run, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would call it, like a run, bitch, run. Like that's like so 70s. Like it's just so primal. And it's this depiction of sadism that is like it's like it was and I think we had briefly like in our quick debriefing on the phone like a couple days ago. I One of the things that did come up for me was this like those ideas brought up by Joan Didion, right? In the White Album, which was that in the 70s there was this sense of paranoia and violence that was kind of pervasive
Yep.
through that era. And that's what it feels like, is it feels like there's this understanding of the darkness of humanity in these characters. They're not supervillains. They're not even fucking super capable. They're just evil and mean and vicious, vicious, vicious. Like the dad is almost the scariest one when it really comes down to it. Yeah, Leatherface is scary. Sure, he's got the chainsaw, but he's kind of a bumbling, like possibly has some form of retardation.
He's the useful idiot.
Like yeah, exactly. And but he's capable of being beat by the father, but the father's so scary when he's got her in the bag and he keeps saying, "Don't cry," and then he's hitting her with the stick.
Mm-hmm.
That to me was actually the scariest part of the film because it was this moment where you're like, "Oh, this is you hear her screaming, you don't see her, and you see him hitting her with this stick that is it's so hard. Like he's doing it really hard,
Mm-hmm.
but it's out of sight. And so it's so obtrusive and attacking.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so delighting
Mm-hmm.
that it's to me, I found that to be deeply disturbing. And that was the film to me. That was the takeaway. When I watched it, I go, that's what was important. Whereas with the new one, it was more of like the conspiracy of the town, right? Like the conspiracy of like they'd all were kind of in on it. And I was like, why? Like, where were they getting out of it?
Well, because they're all
What?
twisted. They're all like inbreds out there in the.
Don't you think that how many evil inbreds? I guess it's true. You could have a lot, but I just was like, how many before you have one person go, maybe not for me. Maybe I got just enough genes
Well,
to be able to
in
like,
the second one, you do get that person. And it's the
yeah,
little boy, and it's funny because I initially thought he was going to be like some Chucky kind of guy or something, but he helps out the situation in his involvement and stuff. But I don't know. I again that the first but I remember when I was a kid, I like I think I watched the first time I ever watched this. I probably watched it twice with like probably a 5-10 year space in between. And I remember the first time over at this kid's Jay's house, it was a friend of mine at the time, a close friend of mine at the time. It was like we watched the beginning of like just the weirdo in the car, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm all good with it.
Yeah, the weird guy in the car and the weird guy in the car I found to be more believable than the crazy blonde woman
No, 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 no.
in a way.
I mean the first one. Oh, wait a minute. You found
Yeah,
your
yeah,
guy
yeah.
in the car, then the
Versus Pussy
It's
Lady,
Run.
yeah, with the gun and the Pussy Lady. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so I don't know. This the second one just I got more involved in it. And where you were talking about the scariest part when the girl is being hit in the first one,
yeah.
uh I would say for me the scariest part in the second one was
In the remake, we should call it the remake because it's not technically the second, it's
the
the remake.
remake. In
Yeah,
the remake,
yeah.
I it was when she runs to the trailer and meets the two women, and I was like,
Totally.
now,
And baby,
yeah.
and yeah, it's so, and yeah, and then he's wearing her friend's face and all that stuff. It's that there was a I remember, what's crazy is this bring back a memory when I was when I was a kid, my one of my babysitters was obsessed with horror movies, and she used to do this for me. She would retell me the plots of every horror movie she'd go see, and I was too young to see them. So I would just be desperately listening to this. I would want my oral history of every horror movie. And so she saw, like, she had told me about the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre after she saw it, and then she saw the sequel, and I had seen these movies without seeing them in a way because she had retold me. And I remember her telling me the part about the old ladies in the trailer and all of that. And it's a funny moment. But yeah, when I was a kid, I was so obsessed with horror movies, but my parents would let me watch them that I would get them secretly from the library because they had self-checkout. And so I could get some of them. And then if they didn't have it at the library, um, I would it wasn't until I was 14 that I learned that I could pirate movies on my laptop. And that was like my summer was so fun. I think it was less than 14. I think it was 12, but it was a really fun summer for me because I was like, first I thought the police were going to arrest me at any moment.
Oh,
And then I watched every horror movie I'd ever wanted to see, ever,
that's funny.
you know?
See, you're more, but see, this is more of your ilk. It seems like I'm the dude that every time I'm always gonna go for just something that just deep and gets in your head from the perspective of like, life decisions and morality or the lack thereof, or some documentarian kind of, depth to something and stuff. So this was a fun one for definitely for the difference of the two films for me.
The thing is, I'm not like a crazy like horror movie head anymore. I feel like I got it out of my system all the way through high school. And then after that, I was kind of like, well, I'd seen most of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then when new ones come out, I'd be like, is it good? Or is it like I wait for it to be good?
Yeah.
I was like, if it's not good, I was like, masterpieces only, masterpiece only. I like only want masterpieces, which evidently so do is everybody else because ticket sells. So it's not maybe not the best rule. Somehow my rule for myself is inherently endemic to the culture,
Inherently what?
endemic to the culture.
Okay.
Like it's a part
Yep.
of, yeah, it's like it's the disease that's causing us not to go to the movie theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Needing it to be excellent in order to bring us there is not like that's not really how movies are supposed to be engaged with. We're supposed to go see good movies, bad movies. Like it was used to be a thing that you just did. You go to the movie theater and you just, yeah, but we don't watch TV like we used to. Like you get like trailers and stuff on TV, and like I used to watch iTunes trailers. Like I used to get myself like cycle like turned on to future films I'd watch by going on iTunes and just watching
Oh
trailers.
wow.
Click, click,
What?
click, click, click. Yeah, it was so fun. And I was like, I was just trying to find the movies that I would someday see. And then and then when I found out I could pirate them, I was like, let me go through that iTunes trailers list and see which ones I'm and so then I was like, I thought it was like the craziest hack, like which I don't know if it's like I should be saying I don't pirate movies anymore, okay? Okay.
Can you? I mean, I don't
But I
even know, you know? I know when I lived in
yeah.
Bulgaria, my buddy,
In Berlin, you can't. In Berlin, you
what's
can't.
that?
My friend, in Berlin, I know somebody who told me that you cannot do
Oh,
it.
and
Like you can't actually
well, I mean, and I don't
in
know
Berlin.
if it's legal or what, but my guys were like, yeah, like you got to go to this site and then you can download all whatever the hell you want to see and shit. And then I got back to the US and the site didn't work or whatever, and I was like, all right, well that was fun while it lasted, you know.
Totally.
So what are you gonna grade?
Well, so here's the thing. I wanted to talk about one more thing about, and now just to move away from the competition between the two, but actually to get into it, right? Which is that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is like an incredibly American horror film, right? And it's in the name, right? But one of the things that makes it so special, or that made it so special, was it was in a lot of it took place in daylight, and it was taking place in this kind of setting that is very American, right? The people who are lost. Like you can live lost, you can exist lost in the wide expanses of the United States. And there's a lot of places where that's just not really possible. It's not really a part of the existence, like this idea of like there being yokels who are inbred and violent and crazy, but that you could just come upon them while you're on a road trip.
Let me challenge you with that though a little bit. When I was driving through Spain, the south of Spain, and as I was in my understanding is the way that it's populated is it's mostly around the coast. So you don't think that like interior Spain has a similar like, the I mean could you not do it with the old Italian village that everybody left because it was in the middle of East BFE or the old Spanish village that everybody left and everybody's running around these stone ruins trying to get away.
It's the it's not just the idea of being lost. Like I think Spain actually is one of the few countries because Spain is really populated in a lot of regions, but has so much that's empty, like America. So there is like a sister kind of parallelism between those two. But I think the bigger thing is that America has this kind of frontier perspective to it, right? Like the original frontiers, all these people that went out west to start lives. But there's something about these kinds of characters where it's like maybe their family, when they went out west, they got lost, and people just didn't see them for a long time, and they didn't see others. And there's this like interesting question of why is that kind of person, this kind of creation an American invention? This is a specific kind of monster that's like the far right gun swinging, banjo playing, gas station owning, like like kind of, for better or for worse, MAGA. I mean, we know
Redneck.
that whole thing is MAGA. I know. Like this film could have, like, if it was made in today, it would have been Donald Trump signs in front of.
Oh my yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah,
So rednecks. You're
maybe
talking
they would have
about
stopped murdering.
rednecks.
Yeah, yeah, right. But it's like exactly, it's like rednecks, but it's not. It's a very specific kind that's related to Southwest,
Inbred
where they're
rednecks.
but it built into the kind of the flatland,
Mhm.
right? The flatland, the desert, the heat. There's something very American about the story, and it's not just, young people traveling, but it's the paranoia and the fear of it. And it's also the idea that there are a lot of people that are existing. Because the other thing is, you know what, the other thing that's really significant about it, you brought up a good point when you're pushing back about being like, what about these places? I would say that the government pretty much in those other countries has more of an awareness about its own populations. Whereas America's individualism and its kind of rugged individualism can create a sense of being able to become invisible. Because, especially in these red states, the government isn't so present. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not so like locked into systems or dependent on for healthcare or whatever, because those promises are never made and they're certainly never kept.
Mm-hmm.
And so people are left to the margins, and if they're not mentally capable, etc., then they're left to their own demons or devices.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that, you know, chainsaw wielding inbreds are existing all over American Southwest, but there's clearly a lot of people being left behind in America because there's a lot of violence.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And there is something also about the left behindness that is interconnected to the violence. And that is also something, there's something in a parallelism between the 70s and our current day and age, because that is that whatever was true then is also true now. It just is, it's a different head of the Hydra.
Well, I mean, but I think it's almost always been true forever in American culture. You know what I mean? Like there's always been those people out there. I mean, when I bought my property down in Maryland, I was like, well, I can get a little further away from the city and away from all of the rules, regulations, weirdos, and, so forth. But I guess maybe because European countries have more of a village-like settlement. And
And that's what I was going to say is that country living in other countries, like in Asia, think about what country living is. Besides just farms, it's also
yeah.
villages, it's fishing villages. The provincial nature does not demand individualism.
Mm-hmm.
There is a kind of often some kind of community.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's America that does that quite differently.
Well, we have so much
And
more space. So when you're looking at a
yeah,
Texas or an Oklahoma or whatever, this is some old farmer out there in the middle of, their fucked up Oklahoma, or I mean not, but wherever it is. And he's got,
Texas,
Texas, Oklahoma, Iowa,
right,
Kansas. Where do you want to go? You know, um, but they are, they're on however many, 400 acres or 40 acres or whatever of their own space before there's actually another person in line
right.
within the community, so to speak.
Exactly. That's the thing is before their neighbors are so far away in the distance, and that is seen as this badge of honor, this grandiose, fabulous thing, when in reality it's part of the sickness.
Mm-hmm.
The promise is the gift has been somehow Faustian because humans aren't supposed to exist like that. They do become inbred.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like it, you know. And I think in every sense in every sense,
Yeah.
right? Isolation breeds inbreed,
Yeah.
and you don't even have to take it in like a literal sense. You could take it in a figurative sense.
Yeah.
To not have others to connect with, one must turn into oneself, and therefore that turning into oneself yields disfigurement. You become deformed. You become a monstrosity. You become less human and something, a kind of other. And it's because whether you were othered by people or the 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 gift of land or the American promise or that rugged individualism ultimately created the same kind of conditions as otherness,
Mm-hmm.
right? the isolation of it, even if you're being told you're winning,
Well,
it makes up
even from
right.
the no, even from the perspective of, I mean, that isolationist element of things is, it can be simply your milieu, and if your milieu is, your three brothers and your sister and mama and
Yes. All
daddy,
three brothers and your sister.
I mean, like, and your mom and dad were raised down the street by your grandparents, who were twisted alcoholics and neurotics or whatever, that, beat
Right.
you all. There you are. You know what I mean? Like this,
That's it.
that's your nuclear, you know?
That's your nuclear. That's your nuclear. That's your day to day. That's your life. The exposure to other people, the connection with other people, the it is it's necessary. And furthermore, these like far stretch away places, that's where shit gets weird. It's weird in America and it's in the country. It's weird in the places where there are people where you're kind of off the map. I lived in Ruidoso, New Mexico, and you
Ruidoso.
you lived in New Mexico too. Ruidoso, yeah, Ruidoso, New Mexico, and it has that energy in places. It's got a strange
Uh,
vibe to it
New
because it is
Mexico.
kind
I
of
mean, outside of Santa Fe,
yeah, the whole
I
state
mean, you
is
ever been to Gallup?
it's and New Mexico is a I love New Mexico as a state because it's so fascinating. It's so Lynchian to me. Like it's such a like to me, I'm surprised David Lynch didn't live in New Mexico because it to me screams like the energy of everything that he ever was touching
Who was
as a
that?
director. David Lynch.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, and this isn't for me. I'm not trying to trash New Mexico either. Let's not get that wrong. I mean,
No, I love it. It's an incredible state in that it's so
yeah.
unique, but there's something about it that feels invisible. When you're living there and you're there, you don't feel like you're on the map.
Oh, yeah,
You
yeah,
feel
yeah.
it's like I felt like off the map. I felt off the grid. I felt like I was like, I am not in Kansas City. Arizona, I felt like I'm in a state. I'm in America. I'm here. California, same deal. You're here. You're doing it. You're in the American thing. You're doing that whole shebang. You get into New Mexico, you go, I am an alien land.
Well, I
You
mean,
go to
you got a place like, like Albuquerque, you know,
I never been to
Albu
Albuquerque, so I can't speak of
Albuquerque
but
is Roswell.
Roswell, Roswell's crazy. Roswell's haunted because it's just like it's haunted by
Well,
JPEGs of
yeah, it is. Well, and like the tumbleweeds in New Mexico blowing
the
by.
tumbleweeds. Honey, the tumbleweeds aren't they? They are booked and busy in New
I went
Mexico.
so
The tumbleweed is never not working.
I went to, yeah, I know, right? Right.
8 shows a week. 8 shows a week. The tumbleweeds in New Mexico.
They got a
Uh,
union contract,
they uh they got a strong union out
you
there. Them
know.
tumbleweed.
The school I went to in New Mexico, Eastern New Mexico University, man, when I think of tumbleweeds, that's like, it's the first time I ever saw one. And I had not gone to that school to check it out or anything. And I ended up taking a bus out there with all my fucking fine china and like stereo equipment and everything. And when I got there, I remember pulling into Portales, which is about an hour and a half to the northeast of Roswell, I believe. And um, the Greyhound bus pulls into this
Yeah.
town, and it's like, welcome to Portales, town of or home of 12,000 friendly people and one or two old drunks. And it used to say something completely different there at the end. It was like one or two old, Negroes or whatever. Oh,
Really?
dude, it was like I remember like riding the campus police picked me up, and I was like, so
I was like,
how long is it to the college? And they're like, oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. Oh, here we go. We're on University Boulevard right now. And I was looking over at like some of the dorms and I was like, Jesus Christ, they're projects.
Jesus Christ, their project and the gayest voice ever is so funny. God, they're heaven, oh heavens me, the pro.
Dude, I just sat there and tears just started streaming down my eyes. My parents would have been like, why do you have to do this? A year ago, you were talking about Emerson, and now you're wanting to like
God.
go to this place and God knows where. And like, and all the propaganda they had was real good. And it was a great school. I really, really Eastern New Mexico University was a defining moment in my life, and I got so much out of it. But I will tell you, as we drove down University Boulevard by the Tasty Freeze and the Daylight Donuts and Alco and Allsups, I was just like, I'm just looking and I'm like, well, it looks like it's getting bigger. It looks like it's getting bigger.
Right.
And then we pulled up on University Boulevard, and I was just like, and he's like, we're here, we're at the university now, that's the administration building. And literally tears just started. Like I wasn't even crying. It just like
Yeah, you're like the lump in your throat is so like here where you're like I actually like your body's having like a physical reaction and you're like
yeah,
I can't
yeah.
I'm not okay. Like yeah I don't know what to do with this I can't cope.
But I'll do
Yeah,
anything for an all subs chimichanga.
I think I really like New Mexico. I stand New Mexico. I think it's a very fabulous, very country state. I give
It's a
it
good state.
4 out of 5
Definitely
stars.
a good state. I could live there. Like, yeah, I have lots of friends who live
Long
there.
term. I couldn't living. I don't think I could live back. I don't think I don't know about the United States to be honest. I've been out for 4 or 5 years, 4 years now almost.
Yeah, you probably
And
don't want to come back here right now. I don't know. That just
I
scares
don't
me.
know, honey. Well, okay, so let's circle back to the topic. So to give it a rating, I'm gonna give the new one, the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the 2003 one,
The
not the new
remake.
new one, but the remake, a 3.5 out of 5 stars.
Okay, out of 5 stars. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a 70%. And I would give the old Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4.1 out of 5 stars.
4.1.
For me, yeah, 4.1. I think it's a good, I like it. It's a good movie. There are some flaws. They shouldn't be going into other people's houses. For example, I really didn't like, I agreed with you that that was classic white people shit. And then when they all did it, you're
But
like,
I'm,
every single
I'm
one
like,
of you,
where's the broken
every
high heel while you're running?
right straight. I go, every single one of you is this. That was the only thing that drove me crazy. Besides that, like I really like I actually really didn't mind that it was a run bitch run movie. I like that. I think she gives a great scream queen performance. Her screaming, her running through the brush, getting like her hair caught on that fucking thing while he's
Yeah.
you're just like there's something about the messiness of them and the kind of hinky dinky nature of the murder and the attempt at murder that feels so sloppy that I just found oddly documentarian-esque. It felt like there is parts of that movie that do feel kind of like a
Well,
documentary
that's
in
what
a
it's
way because
supposed. That's what it portrays itself as too, right? Kind of like.
it leans into the aesthetics of documentary in a lot of ways. It's meant to, it kind of says, here's it, but it's obviously not because like it's a movie, it's a staged film and also like there's no like quote unquote
But
camera that's within.
I'm just recalling just kind of some reading I did, and I want to say that I did read that it was banned in some places because it came off like it was a real story and it was.
Did make people very, very scared of it. And I mean, I think it's understandable that that would be very scary because it's It's scary.
Yeah, right.
It's upsetting.
This could happen.
It would have been, yeah, I can't even imagine how scary that movie would have been then.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine. That must have been horrific because it's shocking
yeah.
even now. Like the death of like the way that he kills them, like how quick and
Up on
brutal it
that
is.
hangar thing. That
Now hanging on is so, oh my God.
no thanks.
And then no, and then she's in the freezer, and then he's just bashing that guy's head, like and it's just like there's no pause. There's no I'm gonna torture you, little girl.
Yeah,
It's not. There's no. It's sharp brutality without any sense of tension. Like the tension isn't the focus. It's not. You're not given this moment where you're watching a scary movie. You're just a thing is just happening.
yeah.
And that is interesting to me. I find that very interesting, and I respect it, and I respect it maybe also because after watching Long Legs, I can see how when the tropes of horror films are leaned into, it's boring. If you and it really feels like the stuff is like unravels itself if you can't stick that landing because you start to just really feel like I'm watching a scary movie in quotations. It's like here's the part where the music rises and here's the part where they look down the dark hallway and here's the jump scare and here's the murder and here's the part where they try to figure out the mystery and it's like it's so contrived that I really think that I'm I'm left after this episode with a lot of things to think about what I like in movies and what what there is to learn about that simplicity and even that
Mm.
primality that exists in the old films. What are your ratings?
I mean, the first one is a classic. I mean, I'm sure it's even something that film students, professors are like, this, we're doing horror now and you must watch this, be like a Hitchcock film or something from that perspective.
Yeah, it is. It is for sure. It's listed on a lot of.
And that being the case, I think I gotta give it a 4, just
Mhm.
because that's where it is. And I think maybe your viewing of the way to grade this might be a little more like finite and for this reason, for that reason, you're really adding up the numbers to get to where you're at, where you've been. But I think I maybe am a little wider in scope from the perspective of,
Yeah,
I'm not a filmmaker, so I think
right.
it leaves it a little more open to interpretation.
Mhm.
But and I would give the second one though probably like a uh, and it's partly due to the credit that I'm giving them for taking on the remake of this
Right,
film, this epic film. And then again, everything I've said about I just felt more engaged with it because of what it does, whether it be cinematically, the story, whatever. It's more in line with, oh, this is real life today,
right.
where I'm always seeing a movie where you know what I mean, where I'm always comparing movies to.
Mhm.
So I would probably say I would give it a 4.2.
I think that's a respectful. I think that's a great rating, especially for what you have kind of outlined. I think like it makes sense that that would be the score, and I think it's a good. That's a very fair score.
Well, I wish we had done 3 for this, speaking about those differences in time and stuff.
Mhm.
Because whatever happened to Baby Jane?
I've never seen it. I know, isn't that crazy? But it just whatever happened to Baby Jane. The thing is I've read the play and I have seen so many clips of it, but it does have a lot of like the kind of aesthetic, like inbred type of energy as the Texas Chainsaw Massacre film.
Yeah, you dude, we got to put it on the list.
We'll add it to the
That
list.
was our in eighth grade. That was our horror Thanksgiving, our horror Halloween movie film, and you had to. I don't know if you had to get permission from your parents. You had to be like 14 or 13 or something to watch it. There were some guidelines around this is some messed up stuff, and if your kid is gonna be here seeing it, everybody better be okay with it. And oh, dude, yeah, we got to put it on the list because you will. I think you will like it. I mean, come on,
I will. I
Joan
will. I know I
Crawford
will. I
and
will. The two divas. Yeah.
Davis fucking with each
Yeah.
other
It's
the
bad.
whole time. Like, just
Yeah.
there's I can't wait to, this just opens up a whole nother thought process, and I'll wrap. But for all of those movies, like the Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, and that screaming match for like 2 hours. I mean, like,
I love Who's Afraid of Virginia.
oh my God, that is
Oh, I
just like, oh
love
my
that movie.
God, how could, like,
I love the play. I love the movie. I love everything about it. I love that. I had two copies of it in my parents' house. It's essential reading. It's excellent. It's
can you
excellent.
imagine a
Excellent.
remake of that now? That might be really kind of
Yes,
nifty,
that would be nifty.
because like who lives with their sister anymore, as their old, there would be a lot to do with that. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
Well,
it's true.
with that, I'm gonna go a happy Halloween episode to you and everybody else.
Yes, happy Halloween.
And love you
Love you. Now hullabaloo.
from us to you. Love you.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Love you. Have a good night. Bye, Jack.
Ciao.